Welcome back, guys. It's Sunday. I'm in the Ranger here, headed down to the field that we did tile on. It'd be the first one that we did in the last video. We got a spot we're gonna go check. We got something that needs to be fixed. It's blowing water out on top of the ground. So I'm sure we plowed through something, an old tile line that we didn't know was there or didn't have located. Happens all the time with tile plow. With a tile plow, you can't really tell you went through something until the water starts boiling out. The old tiling machines, you used to be able to see the chunks come out in the out of the tile ditch. Tile plow, you can't see that. So we're gonna head down there and take a look. Chances are we just crossed an old clay tile, and we'll either tie it in with our new plastic or cap it off or whatever we need to do there. We kind of figured if we did hit anything that it would just absorb into the new tile line. Usually if you them old clay tiles like that, if you run a nice new plastic through by it, it'll just drain away. But we're gonna go take a look at that. So this is what I'm talking about here. Water standing alongside the tile ditch here. You can see it kind of just starts right up about in here. So we are gonna have to dig and locate and figure out where the tile's messed up. So here's what we think. Up there is a spot where we dug up the old clay. And then if I come over here, right there is a spot where we dug up the old clay. And you can see this pile's on this side of the line. That pile's on that side of the line. So obviously we hooked it off somewhere, and it looks to be right about where this big wet hole is right here. So we're gonna try digging this up and just see what we see. If it looks like it's gonna be a big mess to try and fix it here, we're actually gonna go back here a little ways and make a Y on the new plastic, and then dig across and find the old clay and dig a trench and Y it in here. And we'll just leave this the way it is, because the new plastic's fine. It's just the old clay that's busted here, and so we'll just bypass all of this back here. Huh. So, believe it or not, now all of a sudden we found ourselves a clay tile down here running east and west. All right, it's been a little bit, but we got this all sorted out. So when we were digging through here, and we were mainly just trying to find our main line so that we could possibly Y off into the clay that was busted down further. But when we're doing that, we found another clay, which is where that tile runs right into. We spliced in. There's a 4-inch clay there that runs across like this that we busted when we put our new line in, and that tees in somewhere out probably in here with that other old clay line. So when we busted that off, we found out that this is the uphill side of that clay, and it was running a little bit of water, a little trickle, so that it is flowing some water. But this downhill side that shouldn't be flowing any water was flowing a lot of water. And the water was coming from the old clay line because it was backed up in here and coming back up that tee into this whole mess. So anyway, what we did was we Y'd the uphill side of that 4 into our main line, and then we also Y'd the old clay. We kept digging until we found it over here, and we ran and we capped off the downhill side of that, and we tied into the uphill side, ran it all the way down here, and Y'd it in with the rest of the new plastic. So this should, in theory, fix all of our issues kind of in this area, because the spot that's broke off there is now capped up top and shouldn't flow much water. It's kind of, we're bypassing all of that and made all our connections right here. So we're gonna go ahead and get all this filled back in and cross our fingers that we're not back in a couple days. Good morning, it is Monday. We're gonna be hauling manure today. We're gonna clean out the shed and the 2 outside piles. Everything needs cleaned out. So let's see what we can get done today. All right, it's the next morning here. Changing gears a little bit. We still hauled some more manure this morning, and now though we are hooked up to the anhydrous bar with the 400 here. We're gonna go across the road from our place here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on anhydrous, or at least get everything tried out and started up, and if everything's working good, we'll probably get started in. So we got a field here across the road, and then eventually we'll move here to another field, actually to my field on the blacktop over here. All right, got the end rows put on. Just been messing with the monitor, getting rates and everything set up right, shutoffs, making sure everything's working good. So I'm gonna get this corner started here off camera, and then I'll get back to you guys. All right, there we go. We're putting on smoke. Got that corner started, so here we are. Got the auto steer rolling here on the Pro 1200. And then up here, this ag leader monitor is actually what controls the rate. We borrow this bar from the co-op, so they got everything, set up separate from running it within the tractor. Everything's separate, so everything's on the ag leader here. This is just running my GPS. This is our first year pulling with this tractor. Last year we didn't put on anhydrous in the spring. We actually put on 32. Seems to be doing a really good job. It's 400 horsepower, 430 some boosted or whatever. And our last tractor is only a 340. And the last tractor is also a CVT, which they say will eat like 30 to 40 horsepower. So quite a bit more power than our last one. Pulls the bar a lot better. Still a little bit up the hills. I mean, right now I'm sitting at 108% engine load, pulling up a hill right now with the double tanks. So I'm also personally a big fan of these newer monitors, these Pro 1200s. I really like the layout of them and everything. Definitely a big improvement from the Pro 700s. All right, we're on to the next one. All right, on to the third field here. Not gonna get this one done tonight, that's for sure. It's a 240, or technically only like a 217 tillable. There's a waterway and I don't know, 5, 6, who knows how many terraces on it. I got my boundary going now. I made a boundary my first time around the farm. My second time around now, I'm able to use auto steer around the outsides. So it's steering for me around the curves and stuff around the waterways. That way it keeps all the lines looking nice, and it's a little bit easier. So I'm gonna work on this farm tonight until this tank runs empty, and then I'll probably be done for the night. I got a lot of end rows to do. Probably use up most of this tank just doing the end rows around all the terraces and all the stuff on this farm. Then I can go ahead and I'll run the rest of this tank out, and then I can start again in the morning. Well, I was going really good, and then I finally broke a knife on this farm. Got 62 acres done without breaking any shear bolts or anything, so I'm gonna go back and look at this quick. I'll take you guys with me for this one. I've broke a couple shear bolts today, but I'm bringing you guys with me for this. I was going along and just saw a bunch of smoke coming from behind. Which one is it? There's one of these back here. Oh, that would be the one. You can see there's 2 shear bolts on each knife. You can see this knife, it's bent back. The bottom shear bolt broke. Top one's still in there. So just gotta loosen up that top shear bolt, drop the knife back down, and I'll put a new shear bolt in the bottom. All right, there we go, easy fix. I'm back to it. Just about got the end rows and stuff on this farm finished up. I got 2 small terraces to go around, but I got all the big ones done. So yeah, get back to it. All right, all the end rows and terraces and stuff are done, at least on this part of the farm. It's kind of split into 2 pieces. You can see here on the on the monitor coverage map here, I got 81 acres done. I'm just starting to go back and forth here. There's 2 terraces here, 2 terraces here, 2, technically kind of 3 terraces here. There's 2 big ones and a small one here. And then this here is a waterway, and this other side is 60 acres. That's all open, but 60 acres there. So yeah, waterway. This is actually where we pushed out that waterway with the dozer, was right here in this little middle triangle area. So we took that out, so that'll all be open this year. At least you don't have to go around that. But yeah, 82 acres, and it was pretty much all Anhydrous here. Cruising along here. This tank's supposed to last me about 90 acres. I'm sure with some overlap, I'm probably not going to quite make it to that, but I'm going to keep on going here till this tank runs out, and I'll drop it and head home with the bar. I need fuel and def for this thing, so I'll fill up with def and fuel when I get home, and then I'll head back over here in the morning and keep on going. All right, that's it for tonight. We're folding up. Only one big thing slowed us down today. We actually had one of the big main hoses that runs to the right side wing shut off, rubbed a hole in it where the tire must have been rubbing on it. Luckily, we were able to get a spare one and put on there. That was no big deal, but we're gonna be done for tonight. So we'll get started again in the morning. All right, back at it again here in the morning. Getting the Anhydrous done here on a quarter. I got the auto steer running here on my second pass. When I got to the end on this last turn, I had a shear bolt broken on a knife, was smoking. Went out and fixed that. When I got out there, one of the closing wheels is actually missing on the same row. I don't know if it happened at the same time, I suppose. Kind of surprising that those would break. They got, you know, a lot of pivot to them. I'm still going. Didn't seem like it was smoking, that row. So I think it'll be fine for a while. Dad's gonna go and look for another closing wheel here whenever he gets time and see if we can find one to put back on. But anyway, that's my excitement for this morning. All right, I don't have much left on this section of the quarter. So you got this little bit going here, it's back and forth. That'll go quick. And there's another side to this waterway here to go do. And as you might be able to see, it is raining outside, so we're gonna keep going, and hopefully it just doesn't rain enough that we need to stop. All right, got that quarter done. Rain didn't bother any. It quit there soon after. So I'm folded up. Got a set of tanks behind me. I'm gonna take over to the next field. There's about 20 acres left in them. I'm gonna go get that field started and switch tanks, and we'll get rolling. We got that 120 done. I'm following Dad right now. He actually took the bar. We're just at home getting fuel and def and stuff put in it. And so I'm gonna follow him over. We got a quarter to do, a kind of split up quarter. There's 40 in one section, and I don't know if it's only like 100 or whatever over in the other section. It's not quite a full quarter. There's a hay field and some CRP and stuff out of it. I'm following him over. We're gonna do that 40 tonight. We think we can get done yet here. It's only 7 o'clock. So Dad said he wants to run it. He's gonna go run that on that 40 tonight. So I might get my camera out and take some video for you guys. And yes, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, I think he's got everything figured out on the monitor in there, so off he goes for the night. All right, guys, new day here. It's 10:30. Poured some concrete in town for somebody this morning, and now I'm headed over to the co-op. I'm gonna go get our chemicals for our corn pre-plant, and also pick up the insecticide smart boxes for the planter, and get those from the co-op here. I'm taking the semi and the gooseneck over. I'm gonna go pick those up this morning. And when I get back to the farm, we're gonna work on getting our spraying stuff plumbed in. We got to get the mixing tank. We got a new chem ductor this year, so we're gonna get that plumbed in. We might even get the sprayer out and put a load of water in it and just get everything running and making sure everything's working on that. Rick is running the anhydrous bar this morning. He's probably gonna be running that today. He's doing some of his fields. I'm gonna be working at home on the chem ductor and stuff and see what happens later. All right, so here's the new chem ductor we got. Got it with the chem blade in there. I haven't ever used one of these before, but we're gonna go ahead and try it out. It's supposed to be able to take, your 2.5 gallon jugs or even your AMS bags and stuff. You can drop your jugs on there. It splits them open, cleans them out, all without having to get your hands all messy and, undo the caps and break the seals and dump them out and spray them out. It's supposed to just do it all in one process, nice and quick. Everything's pre-plumbed. It's just got banjo quick connects on either side. And then we got our tanks here, main storage tanks here. We're in our white shed. Pump, line runs, and then this is kind of where we always set up. We got our chem ductors always here. We'll stick our chemical totes, bulk stuff here. Any pallets or whatever stick out here. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this hooked up, get everything plumbed in. We got a garden hose we might try and plumb in on one of these lines. It's got the sprayers that spin in a circle around the outside, and it's got the sprayer in here for the chem blade, and you can only use one or the other at a time. So we might have to, we're gonna have to decide which line we want the garden hose plumbed in on. But let's get this hooked up and going for now. Now we're gonna try and get all this mess cleaned out of here. Gonna get these weights and whatever here pulled out of here, and other boxes and stuff. Also got some payloader rims here. If anybody needs some payloader rims, let me know. Came off a case 521F. Well, it looks a little better than it did at least. Dad's gonna bring the chemical totes in here. All right, I'm gonna grab the rogator here. Dad's gonna move the planter out of the way. I'm gonna pull this around and we're gonna load this up with some water and just go out and test it and make sure everything is good to go on it before we get going. All right, working away here at this quarter. I've got about 62 acres done. Pretty slow, a lot of terraces, and there's a windmill road in the middle of it. Terraces, there's a farm place, acreage here, and like a waterway that splits the field into a bigger field and a smaller field. Take a look at this coverage map. See, here's where I'm at, that little arrow there. And that's what I got left to go. There's still one more terrace here. You can kind of see on here the windmill road that goes here. There's two terraces here, two terraces here. A terrace here I went around, and you can see there's the terrace there. Windmill road's right here. Terrace right here. Terrace right there. It's pretty cut up. Here's what my auto steer lines look like on my multi-line. It's a absolute mess. Here, this map might show you guys a little better. You can really see here just how cut up this is. There's 2 more terraces to go around. There's one that goes up right all the way around like this, and another one that goes all the way around like to about here. And then there's the acreage right there, and then there's another section of the farm right here. It's also very dusty outside, as you can see, and there is almost 0 wind. There's not even hardly a breeze out here, which does make hooking and unhooking tanks kind of annoying. You can't really stand up wind from the anhydrous, so it kind of just likes to sit. We're getting through it. We don't have much left. All right, there we go. Got this farm done. You can really see now on the coverage map just how much messing around this farm really is with all the terraces and everything, but we got her wiped out. So I'm gonna unhook this set of tanks and I'm gonna head home. Okay, it's Saturday. Just to catch you guys up, this morning I put smoke on the farm here at home. There's about 100 acres. I did most of it here, and then Dad finished it up here at the end while I went and got lunch. And then Rick came to take over, and he went and did his farm. He had an 80 acres, and that was the last farm of smoke to put on. So he's working on that right now, and he'll be done with that here this afternoon. And so we'll be done with putting on anhydrous for the year. So that's probably gonna be the end of this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.